They don't like it up them, sir.
London Taxi Radio.
So, Jamie, what are you kicking off today with, sir?
Well, we're kicking off. Well, we got Mick from the Mayfair Mob here today, so I think we should kick off with that, really.
Mr. Death Wish himself.
Mr. Death Wish, yeah.
Why is
Yes.
why is it Death Wish anyway?
Why is it Death Wish? Don't know really. It just sounded.
It just sounded alright.
When I was a kid, used to be really close to my uncle and that, and I used to do some really stupid things, and he said, "You got a death wish."
Oh right.
And
So it's just stuck.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Not because you look like Charles Bronson, or anything.
Nah. I've got another nickname, but I didn't want. I didn't want to use that, so I thought just Death Wish.
Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. No more explanation is needed.
You ain't gonna get it.
No, obviously, you know, why is mine Mac the Cab? Well, yeah, because it's obvious.
No, hang on. It wasn't obvious.
No.
What did it used to be?
It's my name in Gaelic.
Yeah, and what is that?
Machrunton.
Yeah, right. So, and
means
why did you? Why was you convinced to change it to Mac the Cab?
You told me to change it
Because no one could bloody spell it.
I know. Well, I struggle with it sometimes.
Yeah. Well, then.
It's THREINFHIR.
Thick.
Yeah.
It's a bit with the Mac, obviously the MAC, Return of the Mac.
Return of the Mac, yeah.
You know,
obviously.
bring
Better than the other Return of the...
Caramac.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or the original name.
Yeah, Mac the Knife.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got loads of them. I've got loads of Mac. I've got Mac everything.
Macintosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mac Attack.
So I'm going to ask Mick a question, if that's all right with you, chaps.
Is Mick here?
Yeah.
Oh,
not,
Mick.
not that Mick.
No, yeah.
No, Mick's just standing up on one of his baked beans at the moment.
He's just balancing. I fell into the soup.
Yes.
Help!
Like
There's a fly. It's a massive fly in my soup.
I found this.
Oh, it's me.
It's an exercise ball. It's not an I know it's been... It's been gradually getting bigger and bigger. The sort of the interest and the people getting involved with the Star of a Scab, to the point where you've created rooms on Twitter for people to discuss the situation and get in touch with each other. How do you feel it's going now? At what point are you at the point where you thought you would be, or has it gone way past that?
Honestly, I'm totally gobsmacked by it, being honest with you. Humbled. It's the way people have actually taken it on board. I mean, but it's only me going. Well, I suppose I started it in January on my Jacks, and like I said to you in the past, Joe, it's like one man on his own is a pain in the arse, but one man and his mates becomes an army.
Yeah.
And everyone got on board, slowly but surely. Initially it was just like Star of a Scab, and then it's there's about 15 or 20 of us, and one night we basically blitzed Mayfair and really took the ranks back in Mayfair. And a couple of lads, we're the Mayfair Mob, and it just started off as a joke, and then it just sort of grew. And obviously through Twitter, people have got on board with it. I designed a silly little badge, really. It's just sort of like a Ghostbusters badge, just to sort of tie people together. So I'm a Scab Buster. And from
we
there,
know all about that, don't we, Jamie? Yes.
Yeah, we do.
We do. Yeah. We know all about Scab Busters.
You know, and from there, a certain bloke called Joe decided to sing a song about it.
Quite nice.
I know. Yeah.
That, in truth, that sort of like we were.
It was homage. It was homage.
It was.
Well, it made sense at the time.
It was just so.
It was poignant, wasn't it? Just at the right moment.
Everything was coming together, and all of a sudden, like, we've got this bloody song, obviously Ghostbusters,
which was great.
So a few of us downloaded it, and we were playing it quite frequently as we were going round on the ranks, and that caused quite a bit of a stir, really. And obviously, the more people got on board, the easier it was to sort of hold the ranks. And again, through Twitter, word of mouth, basically, people have got on, and it's just grown from there. And it's just overwhelming, really. I never thought anyone would not say anyone, but it's just like an idea that started, and it's grown, and it's now become not a volatile movement, but a really active movement that works. And it's, the thing is, we're not vigilantes, we're not doing anything illegal, we're just putting cabs where people are. And
so what was the original inspiration to start it, Mick?
Well, I don't know if you all know my history, but I started driving for a living when I was 21, private hire.
That's allowed. That's allowed.
Shock horror.
It's allowed.
There were minicabs.
We can all.
Yeah.
We can all morph into what we are. We can look at the minicab industry as it was when we were doing it, because I likewise was a minicab driver. It was like you come out of prison, you couldn't get a job. You done a bit of minicab driving. You know, you were between jobs, you're unemployed, you've done minicabbing.
So go and get yourself a Sierra and away you go.
So the way it went, it was sort of...
A Sierra, you Tory.
It was a full Corsair when he started. What are you on about?
Was it a Corsair?
I was flash, I had a Granada.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it automatic?
Of course.
Was it petrol?
2.8 IX.
Mine was a 2000E.
The old boy, the old barn.
So you just drove around for the fun of it, really?
Yeah, basically, just smoking it about, just earning my squirt money.
Yeah.
Yes, I was private eye for about 17, 18 years. Then I done my yellow badge in Croydon.
Yeah.
And when I first badged out at Croydon, there was obviously Croydon High Street got High Street ranks, and Croydon was like Shoreditch and Clapton's like now. It was buzzing then.
Yeah.
And I said up to all the old school on the ranks. Why ain't you working the ranks? Nah, leave that to the mugs. That's what they said, but that's what I was saying on it.
Yeah.
Leave that to the mugs. And I said, well, you've got to be stupid because there's good work down there. And I said, if you don't take it, the private eye will get sensible and start giving these people cards. Nah, we got enough work up on the station. And then what happened was the private eye were coming out, like, giving them the cards because they were taking them off the ranks. And then the punters were coming out of the station, phone in the hand, this would be like before the apps, and they were phoning up the private eye companies that are carding them up and getting them picked up.
Yeah.
So basically then all that was left was the rank getting what people didn't have, the private eye numbers. Yeah. So I was down working the ranks down in the High Street there, having a punch up every now and again. Come up here, when I obviously did the green, badged out in December, and I see all these ranks, just someone else just driving down Piccadilly, Regent Street, and not coming through.
And
just
infested with minicabs sitting on the parking on the taxi ranks, which are
that's right.
Obviously.
So basically, I started doing it, and then I got on Twitter in January and started putting out all these tweets. Got a few derogatory comments initially. How long is he going to keep this up? How his enthusiasm and all that sort of stuff. Couple of lads took it on board, joined the band. You know, people like Benidorm, Johnny, Johnny Boy, Triple Eight, Alex Galpin, all got on board. Deanie B got on board. Happy Days got on board. Taxi Massive got on board, and it's just grown from there. And more people heard about it, liked what we were doing, joined in. Main thing is that everyone that does it or gets a Scab Buster badge takes credit cards.
Yeah.
There ain't no brimming.
Yeah.
Clean cabs.
Yeah.
Take whatever it is. It don't matter if it's round the corner.
No.
And it's just grown from there. And it is overwhelming, really. I'm really humbled by it.
Yeah.
You know, just like one geezer starts it off and all of a sudden you've got a movement that actually works. And it's...
No, as I said the other day, I was in Finsbury Square when you guys all turned up, and it was to see the light in the eyes of the drivers, all keen to get onto it. Proactive as opposed to and just up the road just a bit was all the doom and gloom merchant drivers talking the game down, and you guys were actually talking the game up, which is good. And then obviously on convoy with you guys going to Forge, I think it was.
And, Forge was the start of it. Yeah.
And wow, it was like a military operation.
I think the thing is in this trade as well is and Mick will probably agree with me here, is that sometimes we can, as individual cab drivers, we can have these thoughts that are inside us and as to what we can do about something or what we need to do with something about, whether it be the ranks or whatever. But sometimes it just takes one individual to kind of kick-start that thought process in yourself. And once you, with the advent of Twitter and all the great things about social media now, is it's that much easier to pull people together.
Yeah.
So we're sort of living in a fortunate time like that. But the fact that Mick had this idea... I'm not saying that nobody else had the same idea, but it was the fact that Mick was proactive enough to say, look, I'm going to do something about this, and would anybody like to join me? And before he knew it, he had all these people saying, bloody hell, that's great, that's fantastic, and we're in with you, we really want to do this.
I think that one of the biggest sort of heads up for us was when we actually got approached by Peter Stringfellow.
Yeah.
And we met the Deputy Mayor, Isabella Dedrin, and through meeting different people, I sort of had an idea of who was sensible enough to be able to approach someone like Isabella Dedrin, like the Deputy Mayor. So we sort of formed like a committee, but it's not a committee, if you know what I mean. It's just like we've got this like 7 or 8 of us that are sensible. We fire out emails left, right and centre, and we've gone from there basically just causing carnage with the councils, like just inundating them with emails, questions, solutions.
Why not? It's their duty. Their duty bound to obviously cater for the cab industry, the trades, the businesses of Westminster. We're talking about Westminster Council here, but Westminster
is the city. A couple of the results that we have had through direct approaching, they've agreed to enforce. This is the square city model of the city. They've agreed to lengthen the forge rank by 2 cabs down towards the forge, so it's now 4 cab rank, possibly squeeze 5 on it. Yeah. But it's all active. We're trying to get other ranks elsewhere, getting signage changed. We've got the signage changed at Novikov. Trying to get Hakkasan done the same way. It's if everyone does something, it makes it easier for everyone else who is doing something.
Yeah.
So
because that rank goes live at 7, doesn't it?
The Novikov live. You've got the ranks in Mayfair. Sketch goes live at 6:30. Hakkasan goes live at 6:30. Novikov goes live at 6:30, and Nobu goes live at 8.
Right.
But the difficult thing is because they weren't or aren't very well signposted. Punters and private eye just do what they want anyway.
Yeah.
But, it's
they're not aware. They think because of the parking restrictions go off at 6:30 or something. They think they can, and they wouldn't do it if it was a police rank. If it was a police,
if it was properly signed up with like in yellow taxis.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as we know, all of the enforcement with regards to the parking on the ranks is down at the councils now, and half the council employees haven't got a clue. They don't know what's a taxi rank, what's a tax field needs doing, without getting. Pointing fingers saying, "Oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing it." It's all
about education. Yeah,
basically. And hopefully, it will only get better. More people will start doing what we've tried. Not so much like making another mob up or anything like that, but just doing what we do. If you see a rank when you're driving along, put on it because those ranks have all been put there from times gone by. But people fought hard for those ranks years back.
Absolutely right. And we stand on the shoulders of all the drivers who have gone before us.
And those ranks were fought for in the 80s and 90s. They were put there because they're in busy places. People will use them. And if you see what's happening now on these ranks, people are coming out, seeing a yellow light, seeing a line of yellow lights, and they're going straight for them. They are walking straight past the touts and all the mini cabs, and we're getting the work back.
Yeah.
In Hakkasan, for example, they did have a satellite office in there. We caused so much grief to them, not physically or anything like that, but they just weren't earning any money. Yeah. So the actual satellite office closed down. There was a couple of incidents where the bloke that was running the satellite office was
being abusive.
Being abusive. So we fired loads of emails at Hakkasan head office and got him.
Yeah, good. Out. Well done.
You know what I mean? So it's all about being proactive, but legally proactive. We don't want to get nicked. Don't want anyone to get nicked.
Yeah.
But just
Joe, are you listening, Joe?
I don't know what you're. I ain't got a clue what you're talking about, sir.
That wasn't on the staff night.
So Mick, you are noticing that where there's a line of taxis outside on the rank, that people are preferring to use the taxis
100%. On last Thursday night, 95% of the work went in our cabs.
So what Bob Oddie keeps on about and saying that it's all about price is completely untrue.
It's availability. I think Halo changed. I mean, another word. But Halo changed the public's perspective of how a cab should work.
Yeah.
In my opinion, when people realised that they could get a cab to their front door, they stopped walking out from, say...
I'm lazy. People are lazy.
Exactly. So, if they come out of the Palladium, they ain't going to walk out onto Great Marlborough Street. They ain't going to walk out onto Regent Street.
No,
they want a cab to be there. And if we're not there, they'll get in a private hire.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, in all the other counties, you've got the private hire vehicles are the same type of vehicle as the Hackneys. The only difference is that plate on the back.
Yeah.
So if you've got someone, say, come down from Leicester...
They don't know the difference.
No, and if there's a car sitting on a rank, on a taxi rank, they know it's a taxi rank. They presume, because in their county or city, it's lawful for them to get into it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the police in that he's done. I mean, for example, Birmingham Taxi Cop. We all seen him on Twitter.
Oh, mate, what a guy.
Awesome. You know.
Yeah, but you say what a guy. He's only arrested 2 people in the last 2 years.
Has he? Oh, right.
No, but his group. I mean, like they're pulling in. Like,
yeah, they seem to pull a lot of people and send them off the road, but they don't actually nick anybody.
Well, it's a start.
But it's more than what TFL do.
Exactly, and it's again, it's education, and I think it's all very well. People say, "Oh, don't get in an unlicensed minicab, or don't get in a cab you haven't booked," but they see the fried egg in a window, and in their perception, that vehicle is allowed to pick them up, but. It's the fact that there's the signage. I mean, I'm not going to get into all bashing or anything like that, but when the Private Hire Act was actually brought in, they should have had meters fitted, like they do out in the counties, because the private hire have got meters, the same as the taxis. But the only difference being, they've got to be pre-booked.
Yeah.
And they've got pre-booked emblazoned all down the side and a
proper plate
fixed to the back.
Yeah.
And if that had been done from day one...
There was a certain campaign for not to have a plate on the back.
Because they said that legalised, that legitimised them.
Well, unfortunately, if they had been legitimised, then maybe we wouldn't be in the mess we're in now.
Exactly.
But again, that's not that's not what.
So on Saturday, you organised a flash demo.
No, I didn't.
Sack your researcher.
Okay, so you was involved in the flash demo.
What happened on Saturday?
Saturday was a nightmare. But it started Friday, really. Friday night, we went to go to Novikov. The door ponce had decided to park his transit van. They're taking up free rank spaces, so that effectively meant that the rank was useless. Numerous phone calls. Eventually, someone come down and stuck a ticket on it, and that pissed him off. But do you want a pound in a pot?
That's all right.
Yeah.
Street where Hakkasan is, the five cab rank. Every car space was taken by private vehicles, and on the bus stop you had private hire, and it was just like totally unworkable.
Yeah.
We saw one traffic warden when approached. He put one ticket on one of the cars at Novikov. I told him about all the cars that were on the Hakkasan rank, and the mug walked the other way.
Also, we see compliance were in the square.
Oh yeah, that was they
taking photographs of taxis, and yet on Twitter they reckon they were taking photographs of ranks.
Yeah, that was after.
But they didn't realise there isn't a rank in Berkeley Square.
No, there is a top.
At the top corner, yeah. But they wasn't taking photographs of the rank because the video actually shows them, and you can quite clearly see the compliance officer standing there taking photographs of the taxis as they come past.
Happy Days mentioned that.
So when I was POB, and I was sort of coming past Hakkasan, and I see these motors, and I thought, this is... No, I was stewing. I mean, I was really, really fuming, because I worked really hard to try and get these ranks back.
Yeah.
You know, like every night, no matter what I'm doing, I'll put a tweet out, cover those ranks, keep those ranks, they're ours. And I come past POB, I was going down to Frith Street, and I thought, this is bollocks, basically. You know, the ranks, unworkable. You couldn't work them. And I've come down, I've slung them right into Savile Row, and I see a plod van there, loaded up with old Bill. And I said, look, you've got to do something. He's got, no, it's nothing to do with us. I said, no, it is. It's everything to do with you. They're parked on a taxi rank, which is a criminal offence, given all the subsection bylaws and got all the other flannel that goes with it. And begrudgingly, they moved off. And I carried on with my punter, and I was going to go back into Savile Row and start jumping up and down at desk sergeant.
Yeah.
Benidorm then phoned me up. He said, the old Bill just turned up here. I said, what is it? He said, it was a van, block full of them.
Yeah.
I said, well, good, at least they've come round there. But it weren't enough. It weren't enough. So a couple of little things were mentioned, and I called it.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That's it.
And it's just like, because as Joe says, I've got 4 rooms, staff rooms.
Yeah.
You know, so because unfortunately on Twitter, you can have like group rooms, but you can only get 50 in them. So I've got 4 running. So roughly about 150 cabs that have got like staff scab badges.
Yeah.
And I called it, and within 15 minutes we locked it down.
Yeah.
And then the compliance started taking photographs, and I thought, hold up, don't anyone to get nicked. That's enough. We just proved the point. It was just to prove a point.
Yeah.
And
but what can they nick you for?
Can't nick you for anything.
Can't nick you for anything.
no, but there's always going to be one cab that's got something minutely wrong with it. And is it worth that one cab getting a stop note for something? No, I don't want no one to get nicked doing what we're doing. I want everyone to benefit from what we're doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want no one to get nicked. It's like when we go, like the Forge. If anyone asks you to move, if like one of the parking wardens asks you to move, if one of the old Bill asks you to move. Don't cause any issues. Don't get yourself nicked. And that's what we're about. We're about doing everything legal. Just show that we're like nosed off with it, and deal with it in an adult way.
Yeah.
And it's
because
we're professionals.
Because obviously in that Berkeley Square, Bruton and all around that, you get 150 cabs, mate. Them who wanted to so chosenly be on our ranks, once they do get a punter or whatever, they can't move. They can't move. No. So
not only that, but the punters can't get to those venues.
Absolutely
and
right.
Apparently, it was locked all the way up New Bond Street, Vere Street.
Bruton,
Conduit Street, Savile.
Yeah.
Got out onto Piccadilly down.
Soon mushrooms out, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
It was.
It can all be avoided just by some simple
if it was
enforcement.
If it was
by
enforced,
one police officer and one traffic warden.
Exactly. I mean, today I sent an email to Westminster City Council, basically pointing out their faults and flaws and how things aren't being done, and I'll see what response I get basically. But that's basically that's the Mayfair Mob. That's basically what we're about, just getting our work back. And
so, how can someone get involved? How can a driver that's get involved?
They follow me on Twitter. Just be on the ranks, be seen on the ranks. If you're seen on the ranks, follow me on Twitter. Provided they take credit cards.
Yeah.
And
no brooming, credit cards,
no brooming, no augs. Because like, we cross org, it don't matter. You know, I don't care if anyone's LCDC, Unite, RMT. It doesn't matter.
It's not about that.
No, the whole thing about it is it's cab drivers. That's all we are. We are cab drivers, and that's the important thing. You know, and come along. Everyone's welcome. It don't matter.
Can I just give your? I'm going to give your. It's at Deathwish
1MS.
That's the number 1 MS.
Yep.
At Deathwish 1MS. So if you want to get in touch with Mick,
follow me, send me a DM, and welcome aboard. But it don't matter. It don't matter. Nothing matters. It doesn't matter what race you are. It don't matter what colour you are. It don't matter what organisation you're in. We're all one. We're green badges, and that is it. We are green badges.
Even the Irish are in there.
Oh, except them.
Yeah.
They call.
Don't want none of them in there. No, don't want
and
what's that about?
Is there a height restriction?
No, that's all right. He could be a wheeljack. Even the Irish, because believe it or not, Benidorm's Irish.
I know. I was just to play on Blazing Saddles, the film.
Yeah, no.
Please don't go there.
That was a bit ironic. That wasn't a bit controversial. Benidorm's Irish.
I know, it's fantastic.
It's brilliant, isn't
it? Wonderful, that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, but in truth, I mean, through doing what I'm doing, I mean, I'll come up. When you've been in the driving trade for as long as I have, you know a lot of people. You know, I knew a lot of green badges when I got my badge, but this has sort of bonded. I've met some really good mates through this. I really have. And
because you're focused and you're on the same, you're all singing from the same hymn sheet.
Well, it's not that. It's like you. I think a lot of it is that silly little badge I designed is type it because you pull on a rank and you can see someone has got a rank, like got that little badge, and automatically you will get out and go to talk to them.
Yeah,
and rightly or wrongly, I've become quite infamous for doing what I'm doing, and like I say, I'm also very humbled by it because technically I'm a butter, but I'm not a butter. You know, if you know what I mean. It's if you look at my badge number, how long have you been out? I've been out since December.
But sometimes being a yellow badge for a few years, that's the school of hard knocks. Because you've got the same overheads as everything else as a green badge.
Yeah,
not
agreed.
Earning the money, it's more prevalent. The more mini cabs down there on the suburbs and stuff.
I think what's made me slightly more not aggressive, but able to deal with going into the middle of where the touts are, is working Croydon. I mean, Croydon's is like Beirut. I mean, I've had knives on the cord on me. I've had punch-ups like every other night.
Knives?
Knives. In Croydon, yeah.
Oh, no, I'd like to see a knife. I'd be nostalgically, I'd like, it's guns now everywhere. Do you know, I'd like to see a knife.
No, but... Yeah, but it's not nice when they want to when they want to make you wear it.
Yeah,
so.
I know. When it's, absolutely. And it seems they also want to say, I kill you, which I didn't realise wasn't a greeting.
That's the name of a road, isn't it? Hackhill Avenue, isn't it?
I'm not going to cut across you here, but I will.
Across my ear.
I'm just going to cut. Yeah, you're talking about knives, but I will say that, and to Mick's credit, and he was, obviously the experiences he's had over the years as a driver, whether it be private hire or yellow badge. And Croydon's, it's not exactly Hampstead Garden suburbs, is it, in that sense?
No,
so Mick's seen it all and done it all down there, and he's come up here. Now, effectively, he could have that attitude, but I've been on the phone to Mick when he's approached a private hire driver sitting on a rank, and to his credit, I've heard him say, "Hang on a second, Joe," and I've heard him come off the phone, and I could hear in the background, and he goes, "Excuse me, my friend, could you just move off of the rank for me, please? That's very kind of you, thank you."
Yeah, that's it.
And the fella obviously said something back to me. He went, "Well, you can stay there if you want, but there's a camera up there and it will take your pictures, so it's up to you what you want to do, but I would advise you to move." Right? There's never at one point can you hear any aggression or assertiveness in his voice. It's all very polite, it's all done in the proper way.
We get more with honey than vinegar.
Well, it seems that way, and the point I'm making is obviously from the background that Mick's had in his driving experience, it's either going to be one way or the other. But I find that philosophy that he tries to push on everybody, i.e. the no brooming, take any job it throws at you, as long as we're nicking the work.
Within reason. I mean, because like if
I was speaking to Dean about.
Comes up to your window and they're lagging drunk and they can't speak.
Yeah.
I won't take them. I don't expect anyone else to take them.
Absolutely.
If the geezer starts getting aggressive, I wouldn't have him in my cab. Because if he's going to be aggressive at you at the beginning of it, he's going to give you more grief at the other end.
It's not going to get any better.
So if they can't speak, if they, then there's no way. I wouldn't take them. I don't expect anyone else to take them. Within reason, it's take every job.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
I should have said that, really.
And it doesn't matter if it's around the corner or if it's 200 miles up the road. It don't matter. Because at the end of the day, we are one thing. We are a service industry. And by providing that service, we will win the work back.
It seems a lot of taxi drivers have forgotten that we're actually a service industry.
Well, it's like you go into a shop, and you want to buy a box of matches or got 10 fags, and the geezer goes, "No, I only sell 20. What are you going to say? Well, I want 10. Well, no, and then he tells you to go, "Oh, no, I'm not opening my till for like £4.40. What are you going to do? You go elsewhere." And that's what's happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we are reaping what we sow, and obviously if we carry on with attitudes like that. Some drivers have got attitudes like that.
We spoke a lot about that as well, Mark, over the weeks, really. Yeah, it's been one of those things.
It's not trying to teach people how to drive cabs, because we know how to drive a cab. Otherwise, we wouldn't be holding a badge.
Yeah.
But it's...
I don't know, I've seen some drivers.
I was just about to say.
Look, Sean's holding his hand up over there.
It's more about adapting to the way the game has changed, because the game ain't dead. The game has changed significantly.
Definitely.
We've just got to work within... the parameters that it's actually changed into.
It's slightly morphed into something else.
Definitely.
And obviously with changing our tact, we can actually get some of that work back by doing what you're doing.
I mean, it's just, if you see a rank, it don't matter. If you're coming down past the Bluebird, just move them off. And,
I've done it.
Sit on a rank.
I've done it, and I'm not part of the, obviously, because I'm never awake when you guys see me. I'm always sleeping somewhere.
Hang on, just stop that sentence as "I'm never awake."
Yeah,
that's it.
That is it. Full stop.
But I did it at Tower Hill and pulled up, and there was an Addison Lee on a cab. Moved. I've said it before. Moved them up. Said, "Mate, you can't park there." I says, just because they get into a habit. If they keep, if they know that they're going to get
if no one moves them off, they then think, "Oh well, no one's going to move them off."
I've got a £35 job, and I'm just sitting there having a fag. Do you know what I mean? So
glory tweed.
I know. No, I was quite impressed, and then I've done it again, and then it got my head caved in. So I wish I was. I didn't. I got another job. But it's just like someone like me who just like, floats around, gets a bit knackered, pulls up. it's ideal. The ranks are ideal to use.
You know, those ranks were put there for a reason.
Absolutely right.
For us, not for any private eye. One of my biggest bugbears is seeing cabs parked on these ranks. That really does.
Why is it that cab drivers think that when they go shopping they should be able to park free of charge?
That is one.
Why don't they just go and park the same as anybody else on a parking meter or in a car park?
It is one of my biggest bugbears, and yes, they do get stickered. I actually stuck a sticker on a plod van a couple of weeks back. And
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why
not?
Good.
And move one off of Arts.
Well done. Why not? Why not? I mean, it'd soon move us off if we were sitting on one of their police ones.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know,
you just wouldn't do it anyway.
The good thing about it's all positive. It's positivity, and it's great to see the drivers buzzing about when we're going to do this, when we're going to do that, and I love it. I love the unity it's brought, but in a small group of people, and it's changed a lot of people's outlooks.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just that. There's a common thing is, as Joe said earlier, if you're on your own and you're thinking of something, you think, oh no, but then this is a couple of you, it helps to bolster your...
Yeah, well, the strength in numbers, it always has been.
Well, it's gone to show what people were really thinking, because I know sometimes it takes one or two people to come up with the idea, and then it starts the snowball effect of it. But it was obvious that people were thinking, what can we do? And it just took an idea from a certain person to start to then
needed it to gel.
Yeah. And then it gelled people, and they realised that we've got something here.
And conjolted a few of others and said, make them do it.
Listen, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Probably 6, 7, 8 months ago, I probably would have driven past those ranks, because I never would have thought myself that there would have been enough work coming out of the places. But it's nice to know that Mick's actually. He's actually brought those drivers together to believe in the fact that if there's scabs outside, if there's minicab scabs outside any place, well, you know that there's work.
They don't like it up them, sir. London Taxi Radio.